Hi, it's Lori from Coast to Coast Craft Girls, coming to you from the West Coast. One more card that I've made as part of my Altenew Academy classes, this one on die cutting. And this is a stencil and then a die cut, and I die cut and then replaced it back in, kind of placed it back in, which is, you can see then the little embossed line around, which just adds that extra layer of dimension, I think, to the card. So super easy to do. Let me show you how it's made. So for this card, I've got a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card blank, and I've got a piece of white cardstock exactly the same size. And I'm going to do something similar to what I did before with a negative die cut. So I'm going to cut this out, and I'm going to use the negative space, sort of, but I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out of this white cardstock. And I'm going to place it kind of where I want it. And I want it off to the side a little bit because I'm going to put my sentiment right over here. So I'm going to put it about there. Okay. I'm going to keep that. I'll peel that up carefully. And that's going to go onto my cardstock. But I want to give this a little bit of a raised look. So I'm actually going to cut this multiple times so that when I place it back in there, it will sit a little bit higher than this cardstock. Okay, so I'm going to cut this quite a few times. Okay, so I've cut this 4 times and glued it together just with white cardstock. And I've still got my card here that I cut out of. And then I'm going to take the last one and I'm going to stencil first, and then I'll die cut. Use my Mossy Meadow. Foliage, and this is kind of the highlights. I come in here with green opal. Okay, and there's my stems. And then I've got some flowers. I'm actually going to do my flowers in this nice teal-y colors. Okay, there's my flowers. And then you line this die up with this. Put my flower dies on there. Now I'm going to put this onto my stack of 4, so then I'll have 5 of those. Now what I am going to do is I'm just going to take my teal ink that's left over, and I'm just going to color in those. These are going to layer on top, but just in case there's anything showing, I'm actually going to make these, just take the leftover ink and put some teal color on there. Because when I layer these on there, I'm going to raise them up so you're going to be able to see underneath. So let me get some foam dots. Now you could stencil the flowers on the underneath too. I didn't because I didn't think they're not really going to show that much. It's just a little bit of the color underneath. So, you know, I mean, you can, but not critical. Not pretty. I'll give gives you nice dimension. And now before I adhere this onto my card, onto here, I'm going to do some inking on this Mystic Lake, which is the medium tone of that. And I'm just going to come around and give it some color, just to take some of that starkness of the white away. Okay, now I'm going to adhere this down onto my card, just flat, because there's too many little pieces to try and raise it up. And now I'm going to place my die cut right back into that negative space. Okay, just like that. So we'll just put some glue down here on the bottom. And I think it needs some bling. And we're all done. A lot of dimension on those flowers. Love that. And you wouldn't, because it's a stencil or a stamp, you wouldn't necessarily have to die cut and then place it back in. But I don't know if you can see, but because of the die cut and then the replacement, you can almost see like a little shadow around from where the die kind of gives you that little impressed piece. And it just adds an extra layer of dimension by doing that die cutting and then replacing the die cut right back in it. So, love that. Thanks for watching.